everybody, and welcome back to another episode of What If the Continents and Oceans Were Switched. And in this video, we're going to be looking at a lot of expansion and exploration, just stuff like that. But also the collapse of a lot of bigger powers and rise to a lot of newer ones. So let's go ahead and get into the video. Now we're going to start off here by saying that I had to change this color from hot pink to this new color because it was too bright. So I changed it so it's a little bit darker over here. I mean, it's still really bright. A lot of bright colors. But yeah, I changed it a little bit so it's a little less bright. Anyway, let's get on with the exploration. By this point, down near Antarctica, it's been greatly explored. And we'll also see some new countries arriving soon. But anyway, all these areas around Antarctica are pretty much discovered over here in the east. Or in the west, I guess. And up here toward the south of the Pacific, the Atlantic, south of the Atlantic, has been discovered a lot more as well. Leading to something more like this, where we will see a lot of expansion and new countries. But next over here, Antarctica is going to be exploring this way as well. And all these areas right here will be explored. Moving over to here, like I said, a lot of new countries are going to be founded around this time. Because we're really in a cultural revolution right now. And what I mean by that is there are a lot of different cultures that are starting to get their independence. Like all of the colonies. Even the areas up here in the Mediterranean country and the Black Sea are getting their independence. And powers are getting a lot weaker all over the world. And it's becoming a little bit more equal, even though there's still a very big gap. But anyway, all of New Zealand has been discovered, so that's pretty neat. Oh, and over here, they actually emerged from that area over there. And they're over here. They don't really find anything, so we kind of just leave that alone for now. But yeah, so they're there. But up here along the coast, we actually see a lot more expansion into Alaska. And just expansion all over. But we're going to have to get into the expansion, because this will be a very big video if we don't. We are back, and as you can see, there were some major land changes across the map. So we're going to go ahead and get into them. Starting way up here, this light cyan team thingy right here gets some land. And then so do all these other guys. Now, my original plan was to have them expand all the way up to the Arctic, but I figured it was way too soon for any of that. But, yeah, so each of these guys are going to be expanding some. But not too much, because I didn't want to go too fast. Even though I would really like to have this map being filled up. Because, of course, it is around the year 1900. It's just, this timeline is progressing a little bit slower. So that's how it's going to work. But, the rest of these guys are also going to take some land here, too. But like I said, not too much. But there we go. Updated borders. And, something else is, I already drew provinces for all the new land that these guys gained. So that's really nice. Took a while. It really did. So the Lime Team here will get some land, and so will Korea. But then, these two will make way for two new countries. We have this red one, this purple one here. And then this pinkish one right here. As well as the peach team and the green team. And this new green team being formed. And, so these guys have not really the most detailed stories. But basically, each of these three migrated from one of these other guys over here. That's on the wrong layer. But they migrated from one of these other places over here. Like, maybe these green teams over here. Or Korea, or the two Chinese, northern Chinese, Koreans, we're going to call them. Chinese and Korean mix. That's what we're going to call them. But yeah, the Korea's countries right there, and then the Chinese countries, of course, as well. And they just migrated from there. And yeah, that's about it. Yeah, they're kind of boring. Anyway, We'll give these guys capital cities later. But the blue team down here is going to get some land. The orange team will get some land. And then, of course, the yellow team will get some land. And surprisingly enough, the next colony is going to be formed. Now, this is probably going to be the last. I don't think there's going to be any more from where I've seen this series going at the point. But yeah, they're going to take some land down here just so they can have some more land. And eventually, they're even thinking of invading and taking like this land right here. But they don't for now. But yeah, these guys are very strong. They're probably the size of the Light Red Team Empire and like right before it got its max territory. Like maybe at 2 territory changes before it got its max territory. But South Australia is going to get some land, and they're going to get a lot of it. And then we have a new country being formed right here, being a Dark Side Team country once again. So there we go. That's a very big change over to here on the side of the world. But down here, the pink team will get some land. The cyan team will get some land. And then we see a yellow team and a blue team being formed down here in the south, as well as Antarctica getting a ton of land. But now that that's happened, yeah, they're kind of just branching down into Antarctica through this spot. But these guys are going to get some land. Yeah, the South Africans will be getting some land here. The cyan team cuts the light red team off, so that's interesting. And then something big to notice here, there's a gigantic new country here. So when we get these other two, their land, we're going to need to talk about these guys, which are absolutely humongous. Probably the biggest country that started right off the bat. There's not a whole lot of anything going on here, but yeah. Oh, and then we also got this brown South Antarctic country. So now there's 2 Antarctic countries that'll battle for power or something. I don't know. But yeah. Oh yeah, we forgot. I forgot. We have Colombia, who gets that piece of land, and the Aztecs, who get this piece of land. So they're both very big now. The Aztecs are actually bigger than the Colombians for the first time. So that's crazy. But yeah. So as we can see, the world is getting really close to being fully explored, and I mean really close. Now, at this point in time, all the continents would be expanded into, and probably a little bit more, honestly. Yeah, probably. Yeah, they're just looking at it. There's probably just a little bit more. But that is still crazy to think about. But for now, we gotta get these guys capitals. But I put all the major cities down. So capital there, here. Oh, that's not too good. Moving on from that, we got some capitals over here. No more. Okay. Here, no. Here, no. Yeah, we're trying to put it in the middle. There. Here, and here. So there we go. There's all the new countries. So there's not as many this time as last time, I don't think. But yeah, still a ton of land being taken. And the world is slowly getting closer to fully being filled. But for now, the Age of Division has started. And yeah, things are not going to be looking good for some countries. Starting off, the people of the Peach team are actually protesting. And because I think it was about 3 people were killed down in the southern region right here. And it wasn't good. No, not at all. It was very bad. Yeah, there's just not really anything I can say about that, but they're calling for independence down here, which has not been given to them. But the Peach team is starting to do something about it, because a lot of different areas are starting to want independence now, especially like areas right around here that are far away from the reach of the capital city, which is very prosperous. And they've actually been trying to change the capital city recently, also to this major city right here, It's also a very big city, the second biggest in the country. But at this point, they lose full control of the dark red team right here. They break away. They're sovereign again, and they enjoy it. But moving on from them real quick, we have the gray team here, which has been relevant, but we don't really talk about like how they work as like a nation. But their stability has been decreasing lately, so they are going to be letting off a little area down south here. It's way smaller than this, but yeah, this is like the group here, and when it comes to it, they will release it, and it is very small. Oh shoot. And it's that big. Yeah, it's very, very tiny. But this is just a start to the Age of Division, as some countries are going to be plagued by war, and it's not going to look good. I'm just going to tell you right now, it won't look good. But these little red guys down here, they actually, or I guess they're brown, they're actually going to decide to join with various different countries. Like the dark red team here will get some right there. The blue team will get this one province right here. And then the rest, yeah, they don't really have anybody to join. So, there's going to be kind of like a peace treaty here to see who gets what. This looks simple enough, but the dark green team here will take these bits right here. The blue team here will get that little piece, and yeah, they lose some land over there, but they're fine because it was more ethnically green team. These guys will get their land back, and the blue team will get this piece of land. So now the blue team's borders don't really look the best, but it's kind of a whatever because they don't really care. But yeah, so that's a little peace treaty there. But like I said, it's not going to be good for some of these teams. Some are going to break up later episodes, but let's get on to the first ones. First of these countries is the purple-pink team over here, as they're going to be plagued by several different groups. One such group is the brown team, which is a country from long ago, if you don't remember. But yeah, they're trying to make their comeback now. Let's hope it goes well for them. Yeah, they take about this much land over here. Then the light gray team gets in on this, and they have restored a new leader, which is yeah, I mean he's there, you know. That's about all I can say about him. Sorry, I had to bring that up for a second. As because of this, he has shifted the colors of his country back to the olden days, the very olden days. Like, this is when this country extended from, like, here all the way down to, like, way down here. So they were very big. Now, the problem with this is these guys are a part of the alliance, so after this, they are immediately kicked out of the alliance here. So that's bad for them. But what is lucky for them is they're partnering up with the Continental Pact to try and get rid of these guys, because they don't like them either. So they're going to be partnering up with the Continental Pact. So that's going to help them greatly, as they're already able to push into these areas here. So yeah, they're already expanding greatly. More nations are starting to rise up, like this gray team that we saw for like one episode way back when. So yeah, these are definitely getting crazier now. But the good thing is the Square Alliance will have some success beating back some of these areas. And actually, the gray team loses kind of support, and they're forced back to the green team border. But the brown team, however, is they are very successful, and of course, most of these guys are actually centered down here. So this is where they're going to be making their way into now, as they declare open war on all of these guys. Which actually should look more like this. So that they declare open war on these guys. And they take the capital this one, but it wasn't that hard to do it. Because these guys were very weak. But luckily the light red team will have great success over here in this region. Even freeing up these areas. So right now we can see they are actually losing, but it's not too bad until something else happens. As a yellow nation breaks out in the northern part of their country, and yeah, these guys are the biggest opposition that these guys have ever faced. These guys want their independence and they want it bad. So, with the help of all three of these guys, they will all start marching in towards them. And eventually, the Continental Pact will declare open war on the Square Alliance. So this is a very big war in the region, and this will be the biggest war since the World War, which happened not too long ago, probably about 4 episodes ago. But yeah, they will march into this area, and even down into this nation right here, which they will suffer major losses. The blue team anyway. This blue team down here will even do some stuff, taking some land back that was once theirs, and even trying to take more from the light red team. But their borders are already heavily defended. And yeah, so these are all the nations of the Continental Pact. And as you can see, these guys are not gonna win, because the pink team has now started moving into these guys right through here, and even the straight being captured. But yeah, you know, this is the light red team. These guys aren't messing around. They're still very strong, even though they are caught by surprise by this war. They're not fully unprepared. They are, of course, the light red team. They're like the conspiracy theorists of this world. But using all that, all these nations will start pushing back even the light red team, who is trying to pick out new friends, I would say, because all theirs were terribly weak. Besides fighting these guys until their civil war. But the red team will end up capturing the capital here, leading to the full-on collapse of these guys. And slowly but surely, a lot of these areas are going to start to fall. I know, I mean a lot. Eventually the brown team will make their way into their older lands, reconquering it for them. And yeah, at this point, the light red team will be like, look, we will leave our dictatorship and become a democracy. Just let us have our independence and our influence. And they're like, no, I don't think I will do that. So okay, that's too far in. They continue to release the onslaught until they agree to, they hand out the same terms before, but this time with a catch. New technology rolls out onto the front lines, and this kind of stuff is like last time. Like I said, we had like tanks by World War I. I'm probably gonna rephrase that. We probably had vehicles in World War I, but we didn't have like tanks or aircraft. Of course, no. But here now we're starting to see the first like small aircraft that are really built for fighting like wars. And like right now in this war. So at this point, yeah, they didn't want to have to do this, but they did. They probably were going to anyway, because they knew they were going to die one of these days, or get defeated one of these days. So they invented new technology, because these guys are actually pretty technologically advanced. But they will snake their way back up the coast with these new technologies and even new naval vessels, and start capturing a lot of their old land. And of course, moving into new land on both of these sides. Capturing the little strait right here. Being a very big victory for them. And this is where this is where they will agree to peace, because both sides know this will be a long war, but eventually the Light Red team will lose. So the Continental Pact will agree to end the war on the Light Red team's terms. However, some small things are in exchange. Okay, so here's the peace treaty. And it's kind of complex, so we're going to start off simple. The pink team will get this tiny little area over here, which was made into a new province, just so they can have some land. Because these two have major beef. But anyway, the green team will get their land back, and this one province. They're kind of mad because they wanted more, but it's not like they can leave the alliance, so they're not going to, because they can't. This black-gray team will get their land back, but land that the light red team does get is control of the sea access right here, which makes the light gray team mad. But not much they can do. These guys get the most percent of land out of the treaty compared to their original land. They probably double their land size, which is just absolutely insane. But they are very big now. Anyway, I think they were supposed to get this province here too. But anyway, the light yellow team will get this much land plus that. Purple team will actually take this little land right here near the coast. Down here, the light red team is made into its own country again, and the brown team will take these lands. They're mad because they want their homeland back. Because these guys are ethnically, most of their ethnic group is down here, but they also expand up into here. Which they do go beyond their ethnic group just a little bit. So that's okay. Boom. These guys down here are going to get this province here. And nothing more. But there's the treaty of the area. Now we gotta give provinces to these two new, capitals to the two new countries. We'll be over here in these areas like this. But now that that's done, the map is already looking different. You can tell because that yellow stands out quite a lot. But now, we're gonna have to get on to the next, whatever you call it. In this area down here in the peach team, as they will be granting them independence because something bigger is going on right now in the government. And it's not just in the government, it's actually outside of it too, as they are going through a full-blown civil war. And so what happens is, there is a king in power, let's say, okay. So we got our king here, okay. You know, he has a crown. He's all happy because he has a crown, right? But then he dies. Oof. And this king has two sons. He has one over here and one over here. Now, what happens is the oldest claims power as the new king. But the youngest is mad about it. So, the youngest, where he's in like a different city at one point, he's in this city right here. Well, you can't see it there. He's in this city right here, and he proclaims the real Peach Team Empire. So yeah, there's a civil war going on. Boom, the civil war is kicked off, and I gotta say already, these borders actually look kind of nice. I mean, the Peach teams don't look the best. They're kind of like, whoop, you know what I mean? But this other guy, I really like his. So yeah, let's get on with the civil war. Now, the younger brother is going to start sending militias and what little army was in these territories to go fight, which wasn't a lot, but they did have some army training assets down here. There's a big training base down here. They had some on the border of the red team here. So that is a little bit here. So mainly the southern front line is going to be the biggest, and the very northern front line. But the real Peach team, they have a trick up their sleeves. Well, I guess the older brother has a trick up their sleeves. They're going to try to call for the Continental Pact. when they're like, no way, we're not getting this. And they're like, what? Come on. And they're like, nope, sorry about you. And they're like, bruh. But anyway, yeah, they're gonna take the forces in, and they're just gonna absolutely obliterate this northern army. They don't stand a chance, because the peace team has their real forces anyway. And they're gonna, like, loop around the back of these forces here, leading to them surrendering. And then the capital city, or what is now proclaimed the capital city, is under fire, so they're gonna move some of their forces up to deal with this. Which they do deal with quite nicely. And they'll take some of this land back. But this, of course, means a little bit less on this other front line. But they are still holding up quite well. So at this point, I think the light side team is still winning. They have the most land out of this. But the most valuable land definitely goes to the official peach team here. The recognized one. And, yeah, you can actually see all their land that they used to have from, like, these old borders. And that's actually kind of cool. Anyway, enough been getting sidetracked. Yeah, these are all the major cities that are being here. And some are being integrated into this guy's territory. So that they go out and capture this one, and they are fully integrated already, which is absolutely insane. And they start integrating some other areas around it, so that it's more stable and has better supply routes. And then the peach team does the same thing to this northern one, which is fine because they didn't really want to be a part of it anyways. But now the forces are now smashing on each other full force, and it's not going good for either side really. But the green team especially, as a big breach is made in the front line, causing them to move a lot of their troops back, and it kind of evens out once again. They move their troops back, and the front line kind of stabilizes around this point, which is arguably a worse spot for the light blue team here. But anyway, they're going to continue on with this battle, and yeah, the peach team is going to ultimately start defeating these guys every little step of the way. And eventually, this whole front line collapses right here as more major cities fall. So they're going to retreat the southern front line. So no one really, they'll technically take back it, but no one was really fighting the southern front line that much anyway. But this is going to lead to a massive pushback and the city recapturing. But now that the forces kind of evened out once again, we see that the peach team is winning by a good amount. Probably about the size of like one of these countries over here, which is crazy. But they're going to keep going around this area, taking more and more land, moving throughout until they make it to the capital city. But unfortunately, there is a deadly encirclement here, which leads to probably about 10,000 at least killed, at least. It ranges from like 10,000 to 75,000, no one really knows, so probably around 35,000, 40,000 probably, an average. So, yeah, it's not very good, but the war machine moves on, and we continue seeing a lot of more success from the peach team on all fronts now. But, of course, these two down here are going to be vengeful, and they're going to try to take over some more area. So they send their troops in by declaring war. And now, this time, this is an act of war that the Continental Pact can't approve of. And they are going to start sending help to the Continental Pact members and stuff like that. So they're going to attack these two, and just these two. The only problem is, to have the peach team here, that is a part of it. So they're going to have to be invading these guys all on their own. So they're going to attack these guys, and yeah. They immediately take the capital city and all this land here until these guys pull their troops back to where the non-existent troops of these guys cannot get there. And eventually, an offensive will be made, but it's not really going to do anything. The peace team, however, right here is kind of thriving. The dark red team, anyway, as they're going to move up into some of these lands and attack these guys from behind. And these two are kind of like allies now, because the younger brother over here respects the dark red team's independence, as long as they don't get too much land from the peace treaty if they win. But the peace team is still winning by a lot still. So another attempt on the capital city is made, and this other major city right here is captured. But overall, yeah, it's not looking good for them. So they'll eventually call a truce with the younger and older brother are going to call a truce with each other, and they will meet in a business room or a peace treaty room, a treaty room. I don't know what you call those, but yeah, they'll meet in the treaty room. Ready for a deal, brother? I will do what I must. Sorry, brother. Keep going, guards. We will show the world. And as we saw it, the light green team assassinated the peach team's leader. And yeah, so he goes and shows the dead body of the peach teams online, and then this is where it happens. So he takes absolute control over all his land back, and he goes ahead and sends in the forces, which are straight to the capital, where yeah, the military leaders are shocked. They don't know what to do. Yeah, and eventually he'll just take over the whole country. After this, he'll help push back these guys down here, but not completely push them out. And at this point, the whole Continental Pact are gonna vote for an intermission, because this is bad. Like, this isn't good. And they're also gonna get other countries on board with this, who are like partners of the Continental Pact, such as various countries over here, including some of the older these colonies that weren't accepted and that aren't in the Continental Pact at this moment, and these two right here, as well as some South African countries. But when this happens, yeah, they're all going to war, all of them. And so the ones over here are going to start sending their forces up into here, which will completely obliterate this country. All their forces combined, which isn't the bulk. It's not like all their forces, but it's all the forces they sent combined. And then the liberation process will begin to try to free the peach team. And yeah, they're already starting to go in, capturing one major city so far. The line team's job is going to be the hardest. They're going to funnel most of the troops through here, but they're going to slowly invade into these guys, and eventually they will capture the capital city as well as these other two nearest. But most of the troops are being funneled through them, and then the purple team will be sending a bit into here, taking over the southern front line, and then this right here this front line will be adapted by these guys, the dark blue team. And it gets to around here, and these guys, they will sign a deal where the peach team, it's brought back. It's going to become a democracy now by vote of the of Continental Pact, and yeah, a lot of different stuff. So yeah, so basically these guys just surrender, but not just yet. Okay, so that was a little bit more in the future, because it's around here where we see the surrender, as a lot of military generals are rising up, and it more looks like that. So yeah, this is happening right now, so that isn't good. So yeah, they're gonna go ahead and just sign a peace deal. Looks exactly like this. So it becomes a democracy, and they vote their first president in, which is exciting, yet it's also a little weird. But they're gonna move their capital city down to here for now, because yeah, these guys are still alive. They didn't have that much power to take it back. But yeah, so they're still alive. They get all of this land back here, which is a lot, and then the peach team will get this land back. Oh, and then, yeah, these guys are going to get 2 provinces right here. Personally, like their older border. The previous borders better. And then these guys down here, most of these guys are ethnically pink team. That's why this was happening. So, these areas are going to be given back over to them. And then the rest will become that same country from before. Right, like this. But, yeah. It's already been a very eventful episode. Yeah. So, the peach team is, kicked out of the -- spot. And then we're going to see, rankings next. And here are the rankings. So, first is now the purple team once again. Second is the Mediterranean country. Third being the peach team. Well, they're still third. But first and second are way higher above the rest. So, yeah, third is still good. There's barely higher above the 4th place being the other purple team. Then 5th is the blue. 6th is yellow. 7th is red. 8th is the dark blue team. 9th is the light red team. 10th is the Australians, which are barely weaker than the light red team, which is crazy. 11th is the Koreans. 12th is the Chinese. 13th is cyan team. 14th is lime team. 15th is purple team. 16th is the other purple. Is this darker purple team? Purple Madagascar. 17th is dark red Madagascar, or red Madagascar, I guess. 18th is the peach team. 19th is the green team. And then for the first time ever, 20th is the Colombians. So that's how much weaker the New World is, which is like over here. That's how much weaker they are. This empire right here, I would say it's probably it's like around the crazy thing, yeah, basically, it's weaker than the green team, which is tiny up here. And like the lime team, which is even tinier than that. That's just like, these guys are on a whole lower level. But the Colombians are actually doing very good. And because of the decline of the Indian area over here, they are projected to be a top 15 very soon. And a lot of these other countries are actually too. So, yeah. But that's the end of the rankings. But yeah, it's a 28-minute video already, so I'm going to end it off here. If you guys enjoyed today's video, show your support, and yeah. Welcome to the Age of Division, or the Age of Exhaustion. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.